Stuck with a rifle against a large sheet of metal? Some tanker camping spawn? Raining tankers getting high on smoke from spent shells? Say no more. This guide is what you need to counter these metal behemoths. Welcome. The Gin Artist's Stage Engine Guide on how to hunt tanks.
Welcome friends, to another Jim Notice video.
Okay, first off, before we begin, I need to specify that this guide is correct as of update 1.18.1. If you are watching this at a much later update, the dash may have made some changes to how anti-tank weapons work against armor. Without further ado, let's get on with it. Let's first talk about getting your first AT weapon. No, it's not the AT weapon on the Infantry assault ribbon. Originally, all you have to do is buy some grenades and just throw them. Burrito has removed the AT landmine from explosive ribbon. Good news though, it's rank 1 under tank destruction ribbon. So, to get our first AT weapon, just pick up a Panzer 460 and hit enemy tanks with it. You don't have to destroy it, just hitting components will give you the XP you need. There's no need for the AT weapon in the infantry assault ribbon. Oh, and speaking of hitting tanks, I can never express this enough. 80% frag grenades will not damage tanks at all. Neither will the tankers bite the sound of grenades, so please, do not spam your grenades at the tanks, especially if there's an infantry trying to destroy one with a proper anti-tank weapon. Now, let's review and explain each and every weapon type available in the tank destruction ribbon. First off, we have the AT landmine, Landmine 43 for the Germans, TM35 for the Soviets, and the M1A1 landmine for the Americans. Just to point out two things about these anti-tank landmines. One, there's no actual difference between them apart from appearances. So if you want to save up on purchasing landmines, just stick to your faction's AT landmines. 2. They don't set off when the player steps on them with their foot, so please don't use them like anti-personnel mines. It does nothing but endanger friendly forces. Now, how do we use them? Well, there are 3 methods. First, tactical placement. Plant them on roads or common areas where tanks will be driving on and, well, pray for the best. Secondly, the SO placement. Plant them at the entrance of the enemy spawn when the way is clear. Then you know the rest. Or the third one, trap placement. You might want to wear the dynamite 11 badge for this. Go up to the enemy tank sitting still, plant 3 landmines. 1 in the front, 1 behind, 1 at the side. Then stand back and wait for it to move or scare the enemy tank by revealing yourself. Move forward and backwards and boom. The one at the side is in case the tanker uses neutral steering and turns away from the first 2. You could plant 1 behind and scare the enemy tank into reversing into it, but that's a no trick. Hardly anyone falls for it anymore. Now there is one more method, but we don't remove that. It's basically planting the landmines onto the tank itself and shooting it. It's pretty much a mechanical abuse, so it's no surprise that it got nerfed. You could plant them beside the tank and shoot it, but To me, that's a waste of mines. Next up, we have the first 80 throwables you unlock. The Panzerwurfmine, or its HNG nickname Loadout for the Germans, the ST Grenade number 74 for the Americans, and the RPG 43 for the Soviets. Basically, all you use them is, well, just throw them, but be careful. The Loadout and the RPG 43 explodes on impact, so you better keep your distance when engaging tanks. Also, since they explode on impact, the noise draws enemy players nearby to your position, which is pretty much why you see me using an SMG for self-defense instead of going all out with anti-tank explosives. Only the ST grenades doesn't make too much of a noise. Just remember that you have 5 seconds to throw the next one before they go off. Alternatively, you can opt for the Ladong Dry. Doesn't immediately explode after planting, therefore it's quiet to the infantry cover and only the tankers hear them. But end of the day, however, there really is no difference between such throwables. I'd mentioned that throwing range with RPG-43 having the best range and the SC grenade having the worst, but honestly, you still throw them at short range at a tank, so it doesn't really matter. Now note that we don't just pause them however we like. We need to hit the tanks where it actually matters. So first off, never the front. Always go to the side or the back of the tanks. Your anti-tank throwables can only pen so much. Second, this size isn't enough. To do more damage with less thrown explosives, you need to hit internal components. We're talking internal fuel, ammo racks, engines. There's an increase in damage when hitting said components. These components are found in the sides of every tank, both hull and turret, engines in the rear of course. Sometimes it takes more than one explosive to damage a component, so do pay attention to the damage text below your crosshairs. Next up we have the anti-tank rifles. As the name implies, they are rifles designed to damage tanks. Unfortunately, America wasn't known to have developed any anti-tank rifles, so in its place, in the infantry assault ribbon, is the M1A1 bazooka, which I will cover later. So for the anti-tank rifles, what do we have? We have the Panzer Buchser 39 for Germany, the PTRD and the PTRS for the Soviets. These anti-tank rifles are probably the cheapest weapons to use in dealing with tanks, but probably the weakest also. Mainly effective from light armor vehicles like jeeps or motorcycles to light tanks up to tier 1 medium tanks or tank destroyers. They can only pen up to approximately 50mm of armor, which means if you are facing off heavier mediums or heavy tanks, you have to pick your shots more carefully. So how do we use them? Same strategy with the 80 explosive in hitting the tanks. You know, hitting the components mentioned earlier. You just have to endure a longer time taken to destroy one. However, if you're facing off a tank with thicker armor, my only recommendation is stand on top of the tank and shoot downwards into the engine deck. Hitting the other sides of the tank might result in whittling down the armor integrity instead, which is going to take a while to finally do some actual damage. Not to mention the massive health pool that comes with said heavy tank. Next up, we have the anti-tank launchers. For the Americans, we have the M1A1 and the M9A1 bazookas, and the M18 recoilless rifle, the Granate Buchser 39 and the Panzer Strike for the Germans, and the Ampolomet model 1941 or a literal glass cannon for the Soviets. They are the most effective weapons against any tanks showing up on the battlefield, but probably the most expensive. They are unfortunately rather awkward to equip onto your infantry, assuming of course you don't mind sacrificing the map pack for a one-part rifle while saving up the bash slot for vehicle damage related ones instead of hoarders. So currently for me, I ran a sidearm as a primary, anti-tank launchers as secondary, and one slot left for a map pack. The result? Well, if these anti-tank weapons aren't already expensive, this setup just made it worse. But at least for both weapons, I get to run 2 vouchers instead, and freeing up the slot for a proper damage batch. Now using them is pretty much the same, just shoot the sides, hit the internal components and you're good. Just keep in mind that in self-defense it's not as effective as using a submachine gun, but hey, it still works if you can handle a pistol. Now weapons aside, let's talk about benches. What badges goes with these weapons? For anti-tank landmines and anti-tank grenades, you can boost their damage with Iron Fist badge under the chauffeur ribbon if attacking tanks. Infantry first under driver ribbon for anti-tank cars and IFVs. But if you need more, dynamite lover under explosive ribbons will give you more. For anti-tank rifles and launchers, same badges if you are looking for increased damage. So for more ammo, you wear hoarder's badge from defense ribbon instead. Also, a quick disclaimer: silver infantry first does not one-tap enemy jeeps. I'm still not too sure about gold. But if it doesn't either, then Rito must have nerfed it. And I'm blaming those jerks who came outside the spawn with the PDRD. Also, even if it says so, Grenadier badge doesn't really increase your damage into the tanks, so just stick to the ones I mentioned before. Normally, if I'm not running vet membership or throwables and landmines, I personally go for dynamite lover over any damage just so that I can get more explosive. Especially if one or two of them don't ban properly. I will however wear the Iron Fist badge if I have vet membership. For anti-tank rifles and launchers, since I have plenty of ammo to boot with my setup, I can safely wear the Iron Fist badge for some extra damage. If veteran, however, I'll pick between 2 choices. Either wear fast reload to raise the DPS or wear the hoarder's badge and run semi-auto rifle instead. End of the day, in my infantry setup, I'll only have one guy or anti-tank explosive with an SNG for self-defense, wearing either AV set or dynamite lover. But considering the price to take out a tank as an infantry, I'll just stick to infantry fighting and leave the tank to friendly tankers. Alright guys, that's the end of my guide right here. I hope you found this informative to help you deal with the enemy tanks. Do let me know if you want any more guides of maybe like a bolt action rifle or any other weapons that you fancy. Do let me know.